all, and welcome back to another wonderful video. Today I have the parakeet jar of comments and questions, and basically what this is this is a little jar that if I come up with a question, I will throw it in here. If I see a question, I will throw it in here. If I see a comment, sometimes I will throw it in here. So this is a special parakeet's jar of questions and comments. And today, since I'm like right at 600, since I've surpassed 600, I decided that I am going to open this thing up and we're going to read some random questions that I've come up with, that I've thrown in here and stuff like that. And hopefully you will enjoy. I don't want to go through all of them because I think that will take a very long time, so maybe we'll go through more in the future. And if you have any questions, comments, or anything like that you would think would go well into the parakeet question jar thing, then let me know in the comments. Put them in the comments, and then if they're a question, I will try to throw them in here. If it's a question that's very easily answered or something that doesn't really seem like it would fit a Q&A, then I won't put it in there. But be creative with it, because as you will see, there are some weird questions in here. So yeah, let's get started. It's gonna be completely random. I don't know how well you can tell, but that's why I was kind of shaking it up and everything like that, because I wanted it to get a little bit more random than what it already was. But I'm not going to really look at any of them. I'm just going to try and grab one at a time. This one's a big one. Let's set the parakeet jar down. Okay, so it says, now that you published Birthmark, what are you going to write next, and what are you planning? That's a fun question. That's an interesting question, because I'm actually working on several other things at the moment. Birthmark, this actually wasn't planned. I just put this there because I wanted something to cover up this computer, and I figured self-promotion's fine. But Birthmark, I finished that recently. I self-published it on Amazon and everything like that. I have several other books on Amazon, and what I want to work on next is more scripts and stuff like that. I currently finished one series with this group and everything like that, so hopefully that turns into something. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Who really knows? That's how these things work. But apart from that little script thing that I've put together, apart from some other scripts and stuff like that, I don't really have many plans going forward other than to just keep writing different things like that. I have a lot of different ideas and stuff like that I have in different notebooks and stuff like that. I have some on my computer. I have some on my phones and my tablets and everything like that. I say phones, but I mean like this really old phone that I used to have several years ago, and then my current phone. There's notes on both of them. So I like to take notes on an iPhone specifically because it has the whole iCloud thing, where if I write a note in there, if I'm connected to the internet, then it will save it on the cloud, and then if I get a new iPhone device or an Apple device of some kind, then I can very quickly access those notes. But that's besides the point. So what am I writing next? I'm probably going to be writing more of some scripts that I've been planning to write for a while. In addition, there is another book that I've been wanting to work on for a while, because there was one book that I wrote that was mostly supposed to be like a collection of short stories that kind of led into a whole thing, and I really want to work on that and finish that. But that may be something that I do on the side while I work on more of these scripts and stuff like that, because I'm very interested in seeing if I can write a very good script. And I want to get better at that, since that's something that I only started doing a couple years ago. But anyway, as for planning, I don't really have any plans. I don't really plan that far ahead, because plans change like in a snap of a finger. They change so quickly, so it's kind of hard to make plans. But planning next, in terms of writing, I want to be able to do something with what I've written, script-wise. That's my next plan, really. But apart from that, I don't really have any plans going forward. And if you mean for the channel, then well, the next plan is to get to 1,000, so I can finally enter monetization, and then eventually progress from there. But let's move on to more comments. Ooky spooky comments from the parakeet jar of questions and comments. Alright, so what's your favorite game? So my favorite game, it's actually really hard to say, because there's like multiple games that I own, or that I've played, or that I know of, that either are my favorite game or would definitely be my favorite game like instantly. Some of these games that I really enjoy are just because I've had really fun memories with them. Watch Dogs, for example, the first Watch Dogs, not Watch Dogs 2. I had a lot of fun with that game because, I don't know, there was something about the timing of when I played it that just made it really special to me. Then there's games like Naruto Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 4, which was so much fun to play because of my brother and everything like that. We'd play that all the time. Then there's stuff like Animal Crossing. I've always had fun with Animal Crossing. It's one of my favorite Nintendo franchises. Then there's stuff like Smash Brothers. I enjoy all the Smash Brothers games, so it's kind of hard if I wanted to choose a favorite. But I think my favorite would probably be something along the lines of Minecraft, because there's so much you can do with Minecraft, and it's like, you can literally turn Minecraft into any experience that you want it to be. There's so many ways to play it, and it's something that every once in a while I'll get tired of and then I'll walk away from, but I always go back to Minecraft. And the other games like Smash Brothers, I haven't gone back to Smash Brothers in a really long time. And Animal Crossing, I recently downloaded Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. I've been going back to that, but I haven't really been going back to Animal Crossing, and I've been playing Animal Crossing Pocket Camp a little bit, not a lot. So it's something that, you know, Minecraft is that thing that I will always be just drawn right back to, especially when they add these updates like the Nether update that's coming soon. So I would say my favorite game is probably something like Minecraft, or something else that I can be very creative in, something that I can do a lot of in, you know, pretty much any game that allows me to change the rules and play it however I want to play it is a good game in my opinion, and I think Minecraft does that so well that it kind of has to be my favorite game. Back to the questions and comments. I'm going to just roll up my sleeve so you know I'm not just like, there's nothing, I can't cheat, there's no way to cheat. I'm looking right at the camera. Oh, that's a big one too. Do you have any scars? I actually do. I have 2 scars on my finger. I have one scar here and then another scar like here. You're not going to be able to see it on camera because it's hard to see. It's just hard to see, but they are scars. If you look carefully enough, there is 2 scars. There's one on my middle finger here, and then another one on my other finger right here. Both interesting stories, but we're not going to get into that today. I might also have another scar somewhere that I'm just not thinking of, but those are my scars. You can shuffle this up really well, and we're going to grab this one. This one's kind of tiny. What are you at? Why are you asking for questions? Why are you asking for questions? Don't you worry, you won't get any. Okay, so this is my thing about this is like, anytime I ever have asked for comments, questions, or anything like that, I've literally never gotten it. Never. That's literally never happened. I used to be part of this really big popular group, not popular group, but I used to be part of this big group on Instagram, and whenever like there was like a leader thing where like every once in a while someone would become a leader, and every so often a new leader was made, and eventually I became leader, and I would set up these posts and stuff like that asking the fans of that account to, you know, leave questions and stuff like that, and we were going to do different things, and it was so hard to get questions. But then someone else would do it, and then they would get tons of questions. And I don't know what it was or what it is, but I never get questions. I actually asked for questions for this 600 Q&A a little bit early because I was actually worried about, you know, not being able to be prepared for the 600 subscriber mark and stuff like that. But I almost never get questions when I ask for them, so I guess leave questions, because all these questions were written by me. I'm not going to even lie, I wrote all of these questions. They're not in any particular order, they're 100% randomized. I wrote them weeks ago, so I don't remember all of them. Some of them I kind of remember as soon as I read them, but yeah, other than that, all these questions were written by me. That's why I wrote this in there, hoping that I would get it so I can explain that all these questions were written by me, because I literally never get questions that I can use in a Q&A. So yeah, let's continue. Let's get another one in here. So, what was the inspiration for your channel? The inspiration for my channel is a little bit weird, because when I originally created the channel, I was sort of inspired by a very, 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 very small YouTuber that I had followed on Instagram. They were just like a friend of mine-ish, kind of, and like an online friend. And I followed them on Instagram, and they had these interesting Minecraft videos and everything like that, and I ended up subscribing to them, watching, and realized that they're not that big of a YouTuber and everything like that, and I was like, that's crazy, because these guys are good at what they're doing. And something I decided, you know what, I kind of want to do something too, so I decided to kind of throw together a channel. I started doing Minecraft. My first ever video was like exploring Hypixel on a terrible internet connection with a delay to my voice for some reason, because the editing was so terrible. Actually, it wasn't editing, it was just like something about the way it was recorded just didn't record properly, so it just like had a delay to my voice. But inspiration for my channel was probably starting out was the inspiration was like probably Scrubcraft Central, or they were actually Scrubcraft first, and then they became Scrubcraft Central. But that they were probably the original inspiration for the channel, which is kind of funny because they were really, really small, and I don't know how big they are now because they kind of went off. But yeah, they were somewhat of an inspiration, especially when I started my YouTube channel and I ended up getting like a handful of subscribers, and we actually ended up doing a collaboration and everything like that. That was huge for me because I was like, oh my god, these people actually like seem to care and everything like that. So I was like, that's cool, that's a confidence booster, and I kind of continued with that. But nowadays I draw inspiration from different YouTubers and stuff like that. One in particular is IBX Toy Cat. I don't know if you noticed, but I've been doing a lot of like update videos for Ponytown every time there's an update, or like an update worthy of talking about, not these like weird updates where it's like, you know, we optimized performance and everything like that. Every time there's an update that actually is something worthy of talking about, I make a video about it. And if you notice, I kind of talk pretty fast in those videos, and I try to just relay the information as quickly as possible, because that's kind of the way that IBX Toy Cat did it. And the reason he does it is because the same reason that I do it, is because you want to get that information out there. You don't want to waste anyone's time. You just want to get that information out there. You want to be, if you do that, in my opinion, you become the #1 source for that information. And that is why, in my opinion, IBX Toy Cat is the #1 source of information when it comes to stuff like Minecraft news, stuff like that, Minecraft updates, everything else like that. Because when something happens and related to Minecraft, he makes a video on it very quickly. He talks very fast. He doesn't waste your time. He just goes straight to the facts, talks about everything, and kind of concludes the video with some of his thoughts, and throwing in some of his thoughts here and there. And I just love that style of his content and everything like that. And I kind of wanted to eventually be considered like the IBX Toy Cat of the Ponytown game and everything like that, where I just relay the information, talk about this, and do weird things like that in Ponytown, like what he does in Minecraft. He does weird things like that. But yeah, that's currently one of the big inspirations for the channel at the moment. Other than that, stuff like Optimus was an inspiration for the channel a while back when I started doing news related stuff, where I talked about like, did you hear about this guy who ate animals in front of vegans? When I did that video, when I did those kinds of videos, it was inspired by Optimus, because he usually takes news articles and stuff like that and talks about them in his, he talks about those articles and his opinions in the video, and it just puts out some Black Ops gameplay or some Call of Duty gameplay or something over it. And I love that. I love the style of content where it's just like, hey, this is the news, this is information, or this is whatever, but here's some gameplay in the background that you can enjoy. Scrubby is another one that is kind of inspiration, because his stories and everything like that, they're so good, and the videos are so well put together and everything. Just different stuff like that. Recently, I started the Species in Depth video series thing, and that was inspired by Drifter and his in-depth Call of Duty series and everything like that. So I draw inspiration from a lot of different people, but those are probably the big ones. Stuff like Drifter for the in-depth species, because it kind of was the one that gave me the idea. You know, there's all kinds of different species and stuff like that, and I saw one of his in-depths, and I was like, yeah, you know, there's so many species, I can kind of combine that with this, put my, you know, obviously my own flavor in it, and yeah, get some species in depth and everything like that. So that was the inspiration for that series. But overall, I just get inspiration from so many different people and everything. So yeah. So anyway, that's going to do it for the video, I think. It went on for almost 20 minutes, so I'm going to have to edit a lot to condense this down as much as possible. That's another thing about talking fast, is that when you talk fast, you're able to, you know, relay the information so fast that you can kind of cut down on editing a little bit. I'm going to leave the rest of these comments in here, not the rest of the comments, but the rest of the questions in here, and eventually we'll get to them. I'm thinking I want to do more of these Q&As every once in a while or something like that. If you're interested in that, if you're interested in seeing more Q&As and everything like that, let me know if you like this style of content too, because I can do Q&As and without being in front of a camera. I can do this with like Call of Duty gameplay or some other gameplay in the background if you're interested in that. But yeah, this was a weird thing. I only went through 5 questions, but I think each of these questions in particular they somehow had a lot of depth, even though they were as simple as like, what's your favorite game, or like, what was the inspiration for your channel, stuff like that. Those are like questions that I think need a long answer. So I only did 5 different questions. They're all kind of shaped like something familiar too. I don't know why. I was just ripping paper. Anyway, that's gonna do it for the video. I hope you enjoyed the weird 5 questions that I decided to answer. If you want to see more, let me know, because I have a pretty big jar full of these. There's probably like, I actually can't even tell how many more there would be, but there seems to be quite a few more in there. And if you wanted to add even more into this, go ahead and leave those in the comments. And yeah, that's going to do it for the video. So please like, subscribe, share, do those wonderful things, because when you do those wonderful things, you get access to wonderful content such as this. But that's not all you get. That's not all you get. That's not all you get. You also get to become wonderful yourself, and I think we all want that. So do those wonderful things, and until next time, stay wonderful.